We do, sir.
We have a quorum. Fantastic. Thank you all for coming for a special town meeting. I'm Rich Peabody, and thank you for waiting for me. I got tied up in a medical appointment that I didn't know would take so darn long. But if the cops are tied up taking somebody off the side of Route 2, you can do 90 miles an hour for a good stretch of that, so here I am. Two cruisers, I said, what are the chances? Before I really dig into the special town meeting warrant, I know you already waited for me, but I wanted to make a comment right up front tonight. I made a comment at the annual town meeting last spring, which I deeply regret and completely apologize for. You know, in an attempt for some levity to keep the mood light, but no, it was inappropriate, and it never should have been said on a town meeting microphone. So my apologies to all of you for that 2 or 3 words that they linger in my mind. So I just wanted to say that right up front, I apologize. So here it is, Monday, March 26, 2023, roughly 7 o'clock or thereafter at 1 Care Drive, Erving, Mass. We have a special town meeting for the town of Erving. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Franklin SS, Town of Erving Constables, Town Clerk, Administrative Assistant. In the name of the Commonwealth, you are directed to notify and warn the said inhabitants qualified to vote in town affairs to meet on the grounds of Erving Senior Center and Community Center, located at 1 Care Drive, Erving, Massachusetts, Monday, March 6, 2023 at 7 p.m. Qualified inhabitants will meet then and there to vote on the following articles in the warrant, and they're listed in front of you as Articles 1 through 9. To determine fees submitted by here it is. In addition, you are hereby directed to serve the above warrant and to post attested copies as directed by vote of the town at least 14 days before said meeting. Fail not and make due return of this warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk for the day of said meeting. It's signed by the members of the select board, and its posting requirement certification says Franklin SS, Town of Erving. I have served the above warrant by posting attested copies as directed by vote of the town at least 14 days before the time of holding said meeting, and it's signed on February 14th by a constable. With that formality, I declare this special town meeting to be open. And I'd like it if we could all rise and take a moment to recognize our country and our loyalties. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, this new format we've got gives everybody plenty of time to do some research at home, read through, and the article information thing is pretty cool down at the bottom. It answers that question that's so often asked, like, what are we doing? So, Article 1 is an appropriation for the FY 2022 expenses. It's to appropriate $1,583.87 from the Wastewater Enterprise Fund for the Erving Resource Associate account. It's submitted by the town administrator, and the Finance Committee recommends approval.
Make the motion to accept Article 1 as printed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second putting this in front of us. Are there questions on what this is really doing or why we're doing it? General questions at all? Okay, all those in favor of Article 1, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Article 1 is passed unanimously, which satisfies the 9/10 approval requirement for an article of this nature. Article 2, it's amend the FY 2023 general operating budget, and it's to appropriate $26,715 from free cash. And as you can see the list of things, it's primarily Health and Human Services is going to receive that $26,715 in its line item. It's submitted by the town administrator, and the Finance Committee approves.
Make a motion to accept Article 2 is printed.
Second.
Motion and a second. 26,715, moving money around. Are there questions? Yes, sir.
In the article information, it states that we're partnering with the towns of Shutesbury and Northfield. Are they reimbursing us for a portion of this, or is this our full portion?
Reimbursable. The breakdown is not quite a third each. We're still determining whether it's based on amount of service given or if it's population-based, but there is a breakdown. There's a current agreement, I think it's around 33% each or so, but we're working to modify that to make sure it's more equitable.
Thank you.
Further questions? Yes.
Is this related to COVID and?
No.
Is it the town nurse? Is that what this is?
No, we've been part of a district with, a health district with those two towns for many years. The difference is that just how we're distributing the management of the resources and employees of the district. So the town of Erving is going to take on the payroll and some of the treasury and that piece of, providing a space for the health agent that's shared by the district. And all of the costs involved have always been part of assessments that we've all three towns have paid. And so that'll continue. It's just that we are now going to be the source of, paying some of those expenses. And in the current year, I think we have to make this just an adjustment for this first year because it's a partial. And then we have we'll have it going forward as part of, we'll receive in the assessments from the other towns to offset. Did I miss?
No, that's great.
No. Yeah, all those assessments used to go funneled through the district, which will no longer exist. It's a town employee, and we assess the other towns the same amount, which would have been assessed by the district.
Okay. Further question or curiosity or comment? None appearing. All those in favor of Article 2, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Article 2 is passed unanimously. Article 3 is to amend the FY 2023 Erving Elementary School funding. Is to appropriate $150,000 from free cash and amend the FY 2023 Erving Elementary School budget. And you can see as follow, it's Erving Elementary School expenses for that $150,000. It's submitted by the school department, and the Finance Committee recommends approval.
Make a motion to accept Article 3 is printed.
Second.
Motion as printed with a second. Thank you very much. $150,000 being moved around. It's a pretty good description there, but are there questions? They're certainly welcome if there are. Yes.
It's my understanding that that $150,000 is directed towards, at least in part, towards transportation. And my concern is that the cost of that transportation, when you break down the math, it comes down to about $1,100 to transport 2 kids each day. And I would like to know who the individual is that made that contract with the transportation company and who the company is that's providing the transportation.
Well laid out question. Do we have somebody here who can answer to it with some insight?
Is there someone from the school committee who would know that who's here tonight?
Sure, the special education director would be the one who got the contract in place. And I'm not sure who the company is. I apologize, I don't know offhand.
Okay. Further question or comment? Yes, sir.
Can I just comment that, from my knowledge of that subject, there are a limited amount of bus companies or professional places that can provide this service. And the cost is expensive no matter which one they go to. And the school committee could correct me if I'm wrong, but It's my understanding they're trying to find the most cost-effective way to accomplish this transportation.
Thank you. Further question or comment? Yes,
So there was no way of keeping these students in district at Erving by hiring staff to, does anyone know?
We are told that was not possible
Okay.
from administration.
everybody catch that answer? Yeah, okay. It's a nice quiet room.
I
Yes.
just want to be clear that this money being requested is for actions that have already happened. This is not FY '24 going forward. So that these are old bills that have already occurred, that we're trying to offset some of the costs, ensure that there's enough capacity to pay them. Going forward, those conversations about in-house versus out of district and all those are still happening. And, you know, I think there's another meeting posted on Thursday. Feel free to come.
2 nights in a week.
So, yeah, so these are for bills that have already come in that we were anticipating before the end of the school year. So that was the request that came forward.
All right. Further question, Article 3. No questions appearing. All those in favor of Article 3, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. Article 3 has passed unanimously. We're on to Article 4. It's an appropriation for capital improvements. It's appropriate $135,000, and you can see the listed items down below that comprise that. It's submitted by the Select Board, and the Capital Planning Committee recommends approval, as well as the Finance Committee.
Make a motion to accept Article 4 as printed.
Second.
Motion and a second puts it in front of us. Poplar Mountain Conservation Area, financial software, street lighting. They all sound like things we're working on. Questions related to any of those things?
Why does Poplar Mountain need to be surveyed?
Why does Poplar Mountain Conservation Area need to be surveyed?
Mark, would you like to take that?
The area has, in its original survey of the lower portion of the property, not had any of its corners marked. So this would have those corners which were surveyed originally marked. There's also a portion of property above which was added to the conservation area which has never been surveyed, and it would do a survey there. The survey is being done by an organization, well, the surveyor himself was the assistant, the original survey, so he's doing it with all the information that was gathered originally, and he's going to put the actual markers down on our corners so we will know exactly when you're going on the property or off the property. There's a good bit of our property that you don't know when you're leaving it, you don't know when you're getting onto it because there's no markers.
Thank you. Good information to get. Further questions on any of the three items? Yes, sir.
What department is the upgrade for?
Financial software upgrade and replacement. Which department?
It's really for all of the town departments. So it's the treasurer's office, the accountant, administration uses it, and then the scope would include hopefully all the department heads, you know, when they submit their bill warrants and all of those sorts of things would be connecting to it too. So it's kind of comprehensive townwide.
All right, further questions? No questions appearing. All those in favor of Article 4, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Article 4 is passed unanimously. Article 5 is an appropriation for wastewater capital improvement. It's to appropriate $10,000 for capital improvement projects as listed below. And of course, it's listed replace and upgrade pump station monitoring equipment. The Capital Planning Committee recommends approval, as well as the Finance Committee, and it's submitted by the Select Board.
Make a motion to accept Article 5 as printed.
Second.
Motion and a second puts us in front of us. As somebody who works in the water business, anytime you can improve your monitoring, it's probably a good thing. So, what, I do have a question, what are we doing?
Our wastewater superintendent, Pete, go ahead.
Yes, basically, two of the pump stations, through the communications for SCADA, it's done on analog phone lines. And currently, right now, the phone lines are so bad and cracks. One of the main reasons we're doing it is because every time, say during a storm, the wind blows, branch hits a phone line, whatever, it causes a little break in the conductivity of the service. So we get a lot of false alarms, which is really piling up, and it's throwing our budget off. So by doing this with the two, it should eliminate those alarms and save the town money.
Always a good idea. Yes, sir.
What is the cost of a false alarm?
Currently, right now, it's like a 4-hour callback, 4 hours of straight rate. So it's, it can be roughly $150, $200.
Goes that up?
Yep, times multiple events per season, and away you go.
Right.
Further question on Article 5? No questions appearing. All those in favor of Article 5, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Article 5 is passed unanimously. All right, we're still in the water world here, so Article 6, appropriation for water capital improvement. It's appropriate $26,000 from the Water Enterprise Fund for water tank mixing project. It's submitted by the Select Board / Water Commissioners. Capital Planning Committee recommends approval, as well as the Finance Committee.
Make a motion to accept Article 6 as printed.
Second.
Motion and a second as printed. Thank you very much. Water tank mixing project. Sounds fun. Are there questions on the water tank mixing project?
Yeah, what is it?
Water superintendent also.
Okay, basically, every year as it's been getting hotter out, the drought and everything, what's happening is up at the tank, the water storage tank, the water doesn't circulate and turn over as much. So on recommendations for DEP and putting all our heads together, basically, they're recommending we put in a tank mixer, so it's gonna keep the water turned over in the tank. Because if we don't, we'll keep getting bacteria hits, and the sad part, if you get enough bacteria hits, they could mandate us to chlorinate our system all the time, and we really don't want to do that. No one likes the taste of chlorine.
And if you need a new altitude valve or a pump check valve, you let me know.
I'll just,
Yes.
just for everyone's sake, and Pete can elaborate on this, this is just the engineering. We'll likely, if it's done in time, see an annual town meeting article for the actual improvement, once we get that number.
Correct.
Further questions and/or comments on Article 6? Yes.
So this is related to water, so will this be, like, will the water fund pay it back, or is this just gonna be an added expense?
It's from the water retained earnings.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't.
That's okay. So it is paying, water is paying for the water improvement, yes.
Okay, further questions? No questions appearing. All those in favor of Article 6, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Article 6 is passed unanimously. Article 7 is a capital improvement borrowing item, so borrowing authorization for lead service line inventory and replacement plan project. We're going to appropriate $125,000 for an engineering assessment of lead service line inventories and replacements. It's submitted by the Select Board Finance Committee recommends approval, as well as the Capital Planning Committee.
Make a motion to accept Article 7 as printed.
All right, articles in front of us for questions and/or comments. I think it's fairly self-explanatory.
Did
Yeah.
somebody just explain what that is?
Sure.
Sure, so basically it's a program that's been initiated through Mass DEP and with the EPA. We have to basically do an inventory of all the lead service lines, if there are any in the town of Erving. Basically, the plan, you make a inventory list, and further down the road, then we address as to how to remove them or replace them.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm assuming this is for water?
Yes.
Okay.
Further questions? Yes.
It's my understanding that you have to do scratch tests to check for the pipes.
Yes, there's multiple ways, actually going in and doing a scratch test, so this would be for the service lines that come into the houses. Usually do that like right before it hooks up to a meter. And then if that shows that it could be, if it's lead, then it'll get inventoried and go on a future list for replacement. If it's galvanized, that also falls under the category of being replaced. And if it's copper, obviously it's fine.
And do you have to dig up for that?
If you have to excavate, the way that we would like to go would be, it's like a vacuum excavation, so it'd be just a small hole, go down to the line. You're not gonna be ripping up, people's lawns if we can help it.
Not going in with a backhoe, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Further questions, Article 7, curiosities, concerns? All right, Article 7, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Article 7 is passed unanimously. Article 8 asks that we rescind Article 25 of a special town meeting from February 9, 1949. It deals with how the cemetery commissioners are appointed. It's submitted by the Select Board.
Make a motion to accept Article 8 as printed.
Second?
A motion and a second here. I have to make a comment right off that I didn't know it was one of the moderator's job to appoint cemetery commissioners. So that's how long it's been since a moderator has appointed a cemetery commissioner. So I think we're tidying up old business because the very next article embraces today's reality that the select board would then appoint cemetery commissioners. So we're just correcting something that's been wrong for a long time. Or we've been doing it illegally, whichever way you want to see it. So questions on Article 8? Yes.
Just want to make sure we're doing this properly. The article title refers to a special town meeting vote. And then second paragraph, starting with at the 2/9/1949, it says ATM, which I assume is an annual town meeting. Does that make a difference if we're referencing a vote that was taken either at a special meeting or the annual town meeting? Or do we know in fact that's what it stands for?
You know how many eyes did not catch that? I appreciate that. Whether it does or not, we'll correct it for the record. So I'll make a motion that we amend Article 8 in the second paragraph where it says at the February 9th, 1949 ATM. Replace that with at the February 9th, 1949 STM.
Second.
A motion and a second, which amends this to correct its language.
We double check with Mr. Newton to make sure that it was an actual special town meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, I'll take a comment.
I'm pretty sure they had their annual town meetings in February way back then. As you know, I'm always digging into those old books, so I'm almost positive that was the annual town meeting and not a special town meeting. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure February was when they have their annuals.
Would you like to rescind your second?
I will rescind the second.
Would you like to rescind your motion?
I will rescind my motion.
The article then stands as printed, where we started from a minute ago. Yes?
What if we just say town meeting? Without any specification of what type? We know the date, so just say town meeting.
Eliminate the word special in the title of the article. Amend Article 8 to rescind Article 25 of town meeting on February 9, 1949.
You don't need to, the title, I wouldn't worry about it, it's just a title,
Title doesn't count with the state?
not typically.
Okay, so what do we need to do to be clear?
I would just, as they suggest, maybe just say town meeting, you say at the 2/9/1949 town meeting. Let's change it right there.
Sounds like you're making an amendment proposal.
Sure, I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to change the once changed ATM to STM back to ATM to the words town meeting. We have a motion and a second. Any comment on this before we vote on it? Yes.
Can we incorporate the change in the first sentence to omit special as well in a single motion? Can I amend that motion?
Would you like to amend your motion? And would you like to take back your second?
Take back my second.
Would you like to amend your motion?
We were on such a good roll.
Would you like me to,
Why don't you say it?
would you want to take away your? So I think you need to withdraw yours. I'm going to make one.
Okay, we do have a withdrawal of the second, withdrawal of the first. Away you go. You're up.
Okay, we'll start over. I'll make a motion that we amend Article 8 by removing the word special, any reference to the word special, and changing ATM in the sentence beginning at the 2-9-1949 ATM. Replace ATM with the word town meeting. Words. Town meeting.
Do we have a second on that very succinct motion? We have a motion and a second, which is going to change the title line, removing the word special, and where it says ATM, change that to town meeting. Is there discussion on this motion? Questions, curiosities? All those in favor of amending Article 8, as we've just talked about, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Article 8 is amended, as we've discussed. And this is how the federal government, pardon me, wrecking your microphone for you. This is how the federal government gets nothing done. But it was an important change to make. They do some pretty silly things at the federal level. So Article 8, as amended, is there further question and or commentary? The amended Article 8, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The amended Article 8 passes unanimously. So as stated before, Article 9 is our last article tonight, and it tidies up that business left over from Article 8. Article 9 is Cemetery Commission membership and duties, and it's to see if the town will adopt a general bylaw entitled Cemetery Commissions or take any action thereto. It's listed here with the Cemetery Commission, memberships and terms, duties. It's submitted by the Select Board, and it does require a majority vote to pass.
Make a motion to accept Article 9 as printed.
We have a motion and a second, putting Article 9 in front of us, which eventually will make our cemetery commissioners legit. They're good people anyways, but we'll make them legit. Questions, comments on what this does? No, I don't see any questions, so all those in favor of Article 9, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Article 9 has passed unanimously. Article 327, oh, there isn't one. Yep, there isn't one. So Is there any business that anybody wants to discuss right now? Town business or announcement kind of things to share with your neighbors? Yes.
Can we get an update on the bridge? Like, are they hoping to finish the one side this spring?
Yeah, you can see the progress over there.
Right,
French King Bridge, correct?
yeah.
So as most people who
Oh,
have
yeah.
traveled over the bridge have noticed, on the north end, they've put up the 9-foot tall posts. The replica of the former 3-foot tall railing will go in between those, and then there will be the mesh fencing for the 3 foots, or the 9 foots, excuse me. They're all in the Mass DOT lot, if folks have seen the flatbeds. Those are all scheduled to be installed. My assumption is the weather over the last few weeks has slowed that down, but that is all scheduled to be installed this spring. Once that's complete and inspected, they will transition over to the southern side of the bridge and move the Jersey barriers over and create a construction area for that side. So that's likely this summer. But the north side should be done this spring.
Does that sound like relatively right on schedule? Relatively?
We're a few weeks off from the schedule they initially gave to us, so not too far off.
That's good stuff
Yeah,
for construction.
correct.
I just started up a valve this week that's been 2 years on my calendar. 2 years.
And that was the norm.
All right, further questions, comments, announcements? Nothing? I would accept a motion. Oh, you got something?
Just if you're going to ask for that motion, the board meeting will resume at 8 p.m. following the STM.
Okay, thank you. I would accept a motion to dissolve from anyone who cares to so make such a motion.
I make a motion to dissolve. Second.
We have a motion to dissolve in a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. All right, we're done, but I'd again like to thank you. Sorry about being late, but thank you all for being here.